The last word.
Gentlewoman's recognized for 5 minutes.
I rise this evening to speak in strong opposition to the Pence Amendment. The Pence Amendment is an attack on women's health. This much is clear. What is clear is what these women who today are cared for by Planned Parenthood doctors and nurses would do for care if the Pence Amendment should pass. Planned Parenthood serves 3 million Americans every year. These are Americans who rely upon Planned Parenthood to receive their annual wellness exams, Americans who rely upon Planned Parenthood to receive contraceptive services to prevent unplanned pregnancies, Americans who get tested and treated for sexually transmitted infections, improving their health and protecting the health of their communities. Americans who rely on Planned Parenthood for their cancer screenings, tests that can detect cervical cancer or breast cancer early, when it is easier and less expensive to treat, saving our entire healthcare infrastructure millions of healthcare dollars. And these Americans cannot just go somewhere else, somewhere that my colleague on the other side of the aisle would find more palatable. 60% of those who use Planned Parenthood services consider it to be their main source of health care, their medical home. A vote to strip Planned Parenthood of its funding is a vote to cut these Americans off from the health care system. Surely we can't want that. In my own congressional district, Planned Parenthood of Santa Barbara, Ventura, and San Luis Obispo counties serve over 31,000 patients every year. I must ask the supporters of this mean-spirited amendment, where should these 31,000 people go? Especially now when this reckless Republican omnibus spending package cuts community health centers by $1 billion. And what about your constituents? In the amendment's author's own state of Indiana, 18,000 citizens rely upon Planned Parenthood services each year. 18,000 Hoosiers whose elected representatives are voting to shut down their doctor's office. Finally, Madam Chair, I know that the supporters of this amendment are trying to characterize this as a vote about abortion. It's not about abortion. It's a vote about whether or not you believe in providing women and Americans comprehensive health care. Because, despite all the misinformation being thrown around here, 95% of Planned Parenthood services have nothing to do with abortion. And as has been strongly and firmly stated, there are no federal dollars used for those receiving abortion services. Last time I checked, 97% is an A+, which calls into real question the motivation behind this amendment. Combined with the mean-spirited bills moving through the Energy and Commerce and Judiciary Committees attacking women's health service access, with the zeroing out of Title X family planning funds in this bill, with a reinstatement of the global gag rule, with a 50% slash in international family planning money, and completely devastating slash to the women's, infants, and children's nutrition service.
This is not in order. The gentlewoman deserves to be heard.
Thank you, Madam
All
Chair.
members take their conversations from the floor. Gentlewoman may proceed.
As I was saying, this Republican majority is instituting a completely devastating slash to the women's, infants, and children's nutrition program, along with the other cuts I've mentioned. It adds up to only one conclusion. House Republican leadership is starting an all-out war on women's health care. The targets: women's insurance coverage, their providers, their health care choices. For more than 90 years, Planned Parenthood's doctors, nurses, and other health professionals have been providing health care to millions of women. And 1 in 4 American women voters has received care from a Planned Parenthood health center at some point in her life. So let's take a stand against this attack on women's health care. I urge a no vote on the Pence Amendment, and I yield back the balance.
Gentlewoman yields back. What purpose does the gentleman